Hello, everyone, and welcome. Dori Sukup here. Welcome to the book gathering with Dori, and I have my wonderful team with me here, or some of them. We have Tara and Meaghan and Sarah behind the scenes.
Hello.
So we want you to give us a hello, a thumbs up. We're glad to be here. We're glad to be with you. And today we have a very, very good topic to talk about. But before we get into all that, let's tell everybody what we're doing today.
Well, today we would love some suggestions for some new shows to be doing in our studio. This has been so much fun to be here. Last Friday, Tara and Dori and I and a couple other people were here building this amazing, amazing studio. And so we'd love to hear from you. What do you think? What would you love to see us do in this studio on a weekly basis? And for your input, we have some things that we'd like to give away to you.
Yeah. Nice.
So what would we like to give
What are we
away?
giving away? We have a little goodie bag.
Swag bag.
Swag bag.
Our swag bag.
I like it.
All right. And
What do we
inside,
have in here?
inside our swag bag, let me just look first. You probably have seen our adorable little teddy bear in its spa robe. So she would like to go home with you.
With an InSPAration logo on it. So whenever you need a hug, you got a nice little bear that can give you some love
That's
from
right.
us to you.
That's right. And then
We are talking about sex today.
We are talking about sex
And love is part of it.
Absolutely. We also have our famous InSPAration mug. This, I see everybody in our office toting this around with their coffee in the morning, water in the afternoon, and probably coffee after that again. So
I walk on the beach with that every day.
Yeah, there you go.
People, I think, can spot me from miles away. Oh, here goes the girl with the orange mug.
I think we should do one of those, an Instagram where they hashtag our cup and see where
That's
our
a good
cup
idea.
is traveling
That's a good
around
idea.
the world.
Absolutely.
We need to do that.
That cup is almost in every country I know.
Oh, it has to be. It has to be. So, and then we have our InSPAration management pen, which we have a whole cup full over there that we will send to you as well.
You can do it like, where's Waldo with where's the Inspire cup?
Yeah.
That's right. And then the three biggest pieces that come in the bag are going to be ones that are going to help you be successful.
You don't have to.
Okay. So this one has a gift for you. Dori's first book is in this bag, and also our mouse pad. The second one is going to be Spa Business Secrets to Increase Profits. This was her second book. And the most famous reindeer of all.
Reindeer.
I like our storytelling here. How to make millions with your medical spa.
But the best part, what else are they going to get? That's the best part.
The best part of what they're going to get with our giveaway today?
Yes.
Oh, man. I cannot even believe that Dori said to us, this is what she wants to give away. She wants to give $500 gift voucher for you to attend one of our new virtual conferences. That's huge.
Amazing. I love it.
That's huge.
Yes.
I love it.
So who are we going to give that up?
Well, we're going to give that to whoever comes up with the best suggestion for our studio, or
For
the
the
best
show.
question
The best studio for the
Best-
show,
best
or
studio
the
show
best questions for
for
today.
today.
Yeah.
So those are the two ways that you can win. We're only
Yeah.
going to pick one winner because that's a pretty big giveaway. So register. As we teach you, register to win.
That's right. And so you have to be engaged, you have to participate, and you're going to get to win this fabulous gift today. Isn't that great?
That's really generous
Love
of you,
it,
Dori.
yeah.
And I know whoever gets to win that voucher
Yeah.
is going to benefit so much from it.
So because we were cleaning around this past weekend, while they were putting the studio together, I was cleaning my closet. And sure enough, as I was cleaning, I just want you, this is going to tell my age. So I used to participate with the Nightingale Conan business libraries, and they had an entire catalog of great educational programs. And this was like my sexual satisfaction when I got these packages.
Oh my
Since we're
goodness.
talking about sex, this was like the best high for me. It's like, oh my gosh, I got my new program. But take a look at this. I'm aging myself now. This is the Think and Grow Rich from, I don't know how long ago, when I was probably 19 when I bought it.
Wow.
With cassettes.
Oh my God. She brought that out, and I'm like, you got to be kidding
I
me.
brought it out, and I had Sukup on it, see? So people don't steal my stuff, because your success library should be yours. And one thing I learned a long time ago, people that borrow your stuff, they don't return it. So when you buy stuff like this for yourself, you should really keep them for yourself.
My dad always said, if you can't afford to lose it, don't lend it.
There you go. That's a good
I like
one.
that.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ladies. So
Yes.
one of our newest members to the Flying High program, Tani Chapman,
Oh,
she just wanted to say hi, all.
Hey, Johnny. I'm sure we have lots of people wanting to say hi, but yes, we
Absolutely.
always like to recognize the newest and most motivated, because it's all really about motivation, especially since we're thinking and growing rich. So you got to be motivated to do great things.
And I think between Tara and I think we've done about a dozen new member welcome calls this
That's
week.
right. Yeah.
It has been amazing.
It has been amazing for them
Yeah.
to realize how important it is to invest in themselves so they can reach the success
Oh my gosh.
that they
And
want. So
Joanna,
I'm very excited for them.
Very excited for them. And I have to tell you, they were all so excited about what's going on with the Leap Ahead and about what the next steps are
Yeah.
for their business. So we're like, okay, let's get the first call scheduled.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we have to finish Leap Ahead.
Yeah.
We have homework already. So
Yes.
so excited for them to elevate their business to the next level.
Super excited. Congratulations to all the new members. And I'm sure as we go through this next couple of weeks with the Leap Ahead, I'm sure more and more will realize how important it is for them to actually invest in themselves. And that's really what this is all about. It's all about self-education and investing in yourself. And today's topic actually is a topic that I'm going to be very transparent here. I really did not get this chapter when I first read it. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people don't get this chapter. They don't really realize what it is that Napoleon Hill was trying to say. So obviously today we're discussing Think and Grow Rich, the book we've been going through, chapter 11, The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. That's what we're talking about today. It is the 10th step to riches. And there's a lot of information that actually is in this chapter that we are going to explore and talk about and show you what Napoleon Hill was actually thinking. You have to remember, this is 1937. Nobody was talking about sex. And for him to put it in a book like this and teach people how they can take that energy of sex and then transmute it into other things to help them succeed. Not many people were talking about this topic, right?
Well, I think for someone of my age that's reading it now, it is hard to interpret the chapter, like we talked a little bit, because you're not used to how they talked back then. So I have to keep reminding myself that this was written years and years and years ago. And so it's very interesting to hear your concept of it, like we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm. So the thing that we want to start with is the word actually transmute. What is that? And that's really where he starts with that first chapter. It's really changing or transferring, that's what transmute is, from one element or one form of energy, because that's really what sex is, it's energy. And the title of this book is Sex Transmutation. So he's starting by explaining to you the word transmute and what it really means as a person to transmute that energy that you're feeling about sex into other things. So yes, he's talking about sex, but really he's talking about it in a very philosophical way, in a way where you can take that activity mentally, really, that's what he's talking about, mentally, and channel it to actually achieve greater things and not necessarily just the sex part. So he goes into all kinds of things. I hope that you've read, this chapter, because it's very important and it's going to make it easier. But I am going to explain it to you, and we can dive in a little bit about the different things that he talks about in this particular chapter. So as he mentions, sex is one of the highest desires, right?
Mm-hmm.
Than anything else. And it comes in positive forms, or the last two stimuli that he talks about in the book are the negative energies.
Yeah.
So there's 8 positive energies that go along with the transmutation of sex. But then if you use it the wrong way, it could really cause a lot of harm. As a matter of fact, he talks about how when people are younger, they're more active, right? Tara can relate to that. Did you guys know that when people are younger, okay, let's talk about it for a minute, and then I'll move on. When people are younger, obviously they're having sex more often. And he talks in the book about how people reach success at an older age. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, he says that really most people don't get successful until the
40s and 50s.
Exactly. So why is that? Well, the reason he says it is because when you're just occupying your mind with just the sexual activity, that drive, that just letting you go and actually have
pleasure.
Yes, personal pleasure. Right?
Yep.
And then what he's talking about is as you start aging, then you're transmuting their energy towards other things rather than just the physical, the life force. Because that's really, I mean, sex was created to repopulate, yes, to duplicate, right? To produce, to have babies. But as we get older, then you have a shift almost in your mind and you realize that there's more to it than just that. And that's really what he's talking about here.
You take those desires when you're older to be successful and accomplished a lot more, right?
Other things,
right? But you don't see a bunch of 20-year-old millionaires walking around, right? They're all focused on something else, but then you see more
some now, a few.
Some,
now you do, not back then.
No, right, not back then. But I think now, you know, being in my 35 and being married to an older man, like, thank God I'm married to an older man, because in this book he says 40s and 50s is when they start accomplishing things. So I told my husband, I'm like, you're 50, it's time to start accomplishing things.
Yes,
what
you
I'm like, come on, make it happen.
But really, that's what it is. It's the force that we have within us, and everybody really has that force. And it was driven initially to procreate, basically, and to it's extremely powerful, that's for sure. So what we want to do is be able to channel those sexual energies into a desire that we want. And that's really the heart of this. And that's what I didn't understand originally when I first read this book. And it took me a little while because I couldn't quite get what do you mean? What do you mean you're taking your sexual urges and then you're transmuting them into something else? Like, what the heck does that even mean? I didn't get it for the longest time.
And we had that same conversation earlier today. As we're getting stuff, she's like, why don't you two get this? I'm like, we're looking at each other. I had a hard time with that transmutation conceptually.
But I also think when you originally read this book at 19, you didn't get the same concept of it either.
Absolutely not.
To be honest, it's a book that I was never introduced to other than when I met you. So I think if I had been introduced to it years before and my parents were, passionate about this or my mentors, it would be a little bit different.
Right.
But I think when I go back and obviously breaking the book up into chapters and reading it, it breaks it down. But then when we're done, going back and reading from cover to finish again in a fluid manner, we'll reinterpret those and kind of open those lights again, right?
That reinforcement.
Well, that goes with any book really that you read. Like a lot of people would tell me, oh, well, I read this book or I read that book. Or they tell me, oh, yeah, I read Think and Grow Rich years ago. Well, okay, but did you apply it? There's a difference between reading a book and actually applying it. And for this to really work in your life and make a difference, you have to apply. And that's the one chapter I did not apply for the longest time. Now, of course, I want to apply it more now, but...
Right? I'm still looking for that man for Dori.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. So he talks about the emotion of sex, how it's irresistible. It's an irresistible force. So let's go back a little bit to how you could use it in the wrong way. Now, in the news, you hear all the time about these old men that were sexually harassing all these women. These are successful men, right? So remember, that's why he brings this up in the book, that you could use this transmutation in the wrong way. And that's why so many older guys or so many women are coming out now saying that so-and-so actually sexually harassed me, or they were so aggressive, or, you know, they were talking dirty or whatever. So what makes those guys cross that line between, okay, I am using this for a good force, and then crossing, they risk everything. These are super successful men. They basically risked everything that they worked for because they could not control the emotion that sex drove them to. That is some powerful stuff.
Well, and they had a desire that they didn't know how to have, you know, addressed, or to put it in another way, because it is a desire, right? That we all have to have it fulfilled, if you will. And they didn't know any other form of having that desire fulfilled. But now you see people being successful. They take that same energy, like Dori. I mean, she was full of energy, and she's taking it to do good and build new programs for the med spa industry, right? So that is a desire that's coming from inside, and it's driven by other things.
Yeah. So I want to read this little section here, which I think is very important. So he says, the emotion of sex is an irresistible force against which there can be no such opposition as an immovable body. When driven by this emotion, men or women / women, I should say, this really should be more gender even than neutral, thank you, than men and women. But anyway, men become gifted with a superpower for action. Wow. So you're like, I am Superman, I'm Superwoman. I can do whatever I want when you have that emotion. And that's exactly what he's talking about here. But instead of going and having sex, then you take that emotion, you take that superpower feeling, and you think towards a task that you're trying to accomplish. And because it is energy that you're drumming up in your body, that energy is going to go towards that one thing that you want to do, right? That action that you want to accomplish. And that's what gives you that superpower. And all of a sudden you have all these ideas that come upon you for giving you the answers that you need for all the things that you want.
I think after this, I'm going to start really getting a lot of things done. I'm going to have to be rethinking about my energy drive. I've been painting walls.
Yeah. So let's go through the 10 mind stimuli that he talks about in the book. It starts, and that's very important because it really starts with this topic. That's what we're talking about, is the desire for sex expression. So again, it's something that we always have. Well, I think it just has the chapter. Yeah. But yes, so what we want to do is go down that list and discuss a little bit about each one, and bring in some of the other points that he actually discussed in the book.
This list really kind of hit home for me. Just really kind of seeing how all the principles that we've been applying throughout this book, it's all coming full circle, right?
Yeah,
so like Tara, this is my first time through the book. It will not be my last time through the book.
Yes.
But it's bringing everything that we've talked about for the last 11 weeks into great fruition for me. It's all, I can see it kind of all molding together, and it's just cool. It's amazing.
So if you have any questions, make sure you go ahead and send them in and let us answer them for you. Okay, so number 1 was the sex expression. Number 2, love.
We've got all about love.
And let me tell you, when you have love in your life, whether it's, relationship love or just love in general, that's pretty powerful, because it just fills you with great feelings about that person that you're interacting with. Because if you don't have love, sex can be dangerous because then they're going to use it for the wrong reasons. But when you have sex and love, and notice they're number one and number two. So it's very important on the numbering here of how he's listing them for you.
Well, I liked one of the things that they talked about with that is to reflect back on past love, right? And what a good feeling that brings back to you.
Or not.
Or not. But you can take fondness of that.
You do.
Into
that feeling.
That feeling.
That
right?
feeling
bring
when
that.
you first meet someone for the first time and you like your eyes lock and you know there's something about that person that just attracts you to them. And when you combine love, I put it this way actually in my little journal last night when I was recapping what I'm going to talk about. To me, it's romance, love, and then sex. That's the way I want to live my life for all the guys out there. So it's romance. And really, that's the way everyone should take it because I thought deeply about this. So it should be that attraction, right?
Yeah.
Almost like what we talked about in marketing yesterday, or the day before at the Leap Ahead. So first you have to attract the person, then you start feeling romancing them, exactly, and then you fall in love,
build the feelings,
and then you
build together forever
a long relationship, and that's really what we're talking about here. And one of the things you were mentioning to me today is the statement that he said in the book, behind every
great man is a powerful woman.
Or I would like to rephrase that.
Behind every great woman is a powerful man.
Or just behind every person, there is another great person. That's what I would prefer to use these days since we are in 2020 and the world is a different world right now. So it makes a difference. So that's what we want. And the whole idea here behind that statement is because these guys that are very successful, or even the girls that are very successful, the reason they're successful is because they want to attract that person and feel so good about them. Like, I'm super successful. I can have anybody I want, right?
I had a principal say that to me when I was teaching a million years ago. I said, you have such a powerful group of teachers. She said, I surround myself with people that are way better, way smarter than me, because then you get elevated to the top with the support that you have from that team that you build around you.
Right. And what Hill is talking about with that point is that when you are super successful, you have that great feeling about you and you feel like you can have anybody. Right? And they do it to impress women. They do it to attract that special trophy on the arm or whatever. And I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but that's what drives a lot of guys to really be successful.
Right? They
want to impress.
Confidence, right? You're like, oh, I'm powerful. I can accomplish and do this, and it just is confidence.
Exactly.
Now, making it gender neutral, I feel that way. I feel like when I meet someone or when a guy meets me, you know, they're like, oh, well, she's got her stuff together, right? And you know, I built a very nice business, but I'm not doing it just to impress a guy. But it's funny how things and philosophies kind of evolve a little bit over the years. And you see a lot more women CEOs now than you see back then. So definitely it's behind every good person is another good person. That's how I like to think about it. It makes you better.
This book could be so like rewritten, if you will, and including so many accomplished women in our history. I mean, from Oprah to all these successful women who could play a significant part.
And then having that person behind you, or that team behind you, goes back to the buttons, right? I just push a button. Like you mentioned, I don't do the website. I have a team that those are their gifts and talents. So that's what the whole.
So the third point is
a burning desire for fame, power, financial gain, and money.
And those are the things that you're transmuting into, by the way. This is exactly what it's that those guys and those women that are super successful and have that high sexual energy, they are with that burning desire and they want to have that power and feel great about themselves and be super successful. Money is a key thing.
And then number 4 is music.
I find that very interesting.
I was just gonna say, when I was reading and listening to the book, I was like, music.
Yeah,
it
but
threw
you
me
know
off
why?
a little bit
Actually, music is
because it affects emotions, right?
it does, and it helps you. Not any kind of music. If you're trying to work on a task or accomplish something, or you're channeling your energy towards that thing, you definitely don't want music with lyrics in it. You don't want rap music or rock and roll or this or that. You want classical music. And what he says is that when you have that classical music, your brain works in mysterious ways, and it helps you accomplish or helps you connect to that other energy that you're trying to get to, instead of the crazy music.
Oh, that one's a hard one for me because I can be so focused with country music. I don't know what it is, but it's like I've always got country music playing in the background, but it doesn't distract me.
That's because you're a country girl.
I'm a country girl.
All right.
So then we move to number 5, which is friendship between either those of the same sex or those of opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, friendship is love as well, right?
Sure.
Being surrounded by love, it doesn't have to be a spouse.
Yeah.
We all feel love in a different way.
Right. And the friends you choose to surround yourself with, especially as you get older, are people that are like-minded, that they want more for their life than what they have.
Yeah.
And it's good, powerful people.
So just to run through the rest of them, we talked about Mastermind Alliance last week. And then number 7, is mutual suffering experienced by people who are persecuted. Auto-suggestions we talked about. But then here's the last 2 that are the negative ones. So what's going to stop you from transmuting sexual desires to what you want is 1, fear. That's going to cripple you. It's going to stop you. And then, of course, if you get drunk and you're doing drugs all the time, then you're going to use sex towards the wrong way. So those are the negative things that you definitely want to stay away from.
Because again, it's all about an emotion, and those bad things affect how your emotions are.
I'm not going to go into the sixth sense very much because there's a whole chapter coming up on the sixth sense. So there's a lot of things that you can do to really help you, again, step up your opportunities and be more aware of things that you can be doing and things that you can do. But he does talk about one thing when you're trying to make a decision. And he gives examples of few men that were very wealthy about how they made a decision. Before they made a decision, they took a few minutes to close their eyes, right? And picture and imagine what it is that they want, and then make that decision. And the takeaway from that is, sometimes we might be tied into that emotion. We want something to happen right this minute or whatever. But if you take the time to really meditate, this is another way to meditate, really. That's what they're doing. Is take that minute, close your eyes, think about it, meditate, and then take action.
Right. And like you mentioned about Bill Gates, how he made his living for sitting for ideas. And so that just shows you, like, when you stop and really just think about it. And I think that's something that I know I have a hard time with, and I think now,
thinking?
No, not yet. I hope not. But just stopping.
Yeah.
Right. I have a hard time with just letting my brain stop and just think about that moment for a minute, and then move on to something else. It's just, you're constantly moving. And that's really hard.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of the things that Dori does well. When I first came on board, she said, let it simmer.
Right.
Come back to it. Let's stop.
Simmering is good.
It's stop.
I simmer all the time. Oh, yeah, especially like when I work on presentations, they have to simmer, because then you come back to it and you have like this whole subconscious mind that was going on. It comes back with like, oh, I can improve this, I can improve that. And
or sometimes you come back and you look at it and you're like, what was I thinking when I did that?
Yeah. So here are the averages. I found my card. So when you're 20, this is interesting. You'll like this too.
Okay.
When you're 20, you have sex once a day. I never did that. I don't know where I was. When you're 30, you have sex once a week on average. When you're 40, every 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks. And when you're 60,
Every day.
No. Every 100 days.
Oh my
gosh.
I'm not aging at all. I'm not part of those statistics. Once a week. Once a 100 days?
When you don't have a boyfriend, it's like hundreds and
Hundreds of days.
But I couldn't imagine being married and being like, no, once a week. I've been like, yes, see ya.
Too much information there.
Right, talking about that.
That's funny.
Oh my God.
But yeah, this surprises me. Are those new age statistics, not 1960s
No,
or 70s?
they're new. They're new. All right, so I want to make sure everybody got the point of this chapter, though, is that whenever you start having that urge or your mind goes, and actually a good way also, I want to talk about marketing and how people use sex to market these days. But if you have that urge, what you want to focus on is, again, redirecting that thought or that urge to something that you want to accomplish. And that's really what this is all about. So, but yeah, I want to talk about marketing. As a matter of fact, we were discussing this, and I was telling our Leap Ahead audience that you're not selling treatments. You're not selling body contouring. You're not selling injectables. That's not what you're selling. You're selling happiness. You're selling sexy. You're selling feeling good. That's exactly what you're selling. You're selling them about feeling good about themselves. And think about it. Every magazine you open, every ad you see, every TV channel you look at, what are they selling?
Feelings.
What are they selling? Sex. That's what they're selling. They're selling sex all the time to everybody. And, you know, there's good, again, about this, and there's bad about it. And the whole idea here is, instead of just looking at something, stimulating your mind and saying, oh, you know, oh, this is sexy, and then let it go. If it does stir up some urge or feeling inside you, then again, just redirect that thought towards something you want. So you can actually use the marketing material that you see that might stir up an urge in you, an emotional urge, then just redirect it to something else. And I mean, marketers are very smart because they know that, what's the statement? Sex sells.
Yep.
And when you hear that, and the reason they say sex sells. I think you read
this book.
Yeah.
Because you transmutate that desire into.
Exactly. And it's amazing to me that people sometimes don't see it that way, right? Mm-hmm. But that's exactly what they're doing.
Sure.
They're influencing you, they're stirring your emotions, and they're getting you to take action. And that's, you know, one takeaway from this is, how can this help your business, right? Mm-hmm. And it can help it not just by you transmuting those thoughts, but also seeing how you can use it to help generate more sales by approaching the whole sales process as the emotion.
Mm-hmm. I have Andrea typing in here, and she's asking, you keep talking about marketing, you keep talking about the sleep. Her marketing isn't working in her day spa. Mm-hmm. So what can she be adding to her marketing in order to make it better?
Sex. No.
Yeah. You know, we laugh and joke, and you have to have fun, right?
Of course.
Talking about this, but it's so true. Well, you know, when it comes to, especially in the med spa industry, because you're selling beauty, you're selling that emotion, and people in themselves want to be that person that's on that image, and they want to be that person. So you're selling that confidence, getting, whether it's Botox or facial treatments, you're instilling confidence in somebody that they can be who they want to be.
Well, I mean, there are so many reasons why somebody's marketing is not working. It could be the wrong message, the wrong audience, the wrong image. I mean, the list is endless. She should probably send us some of her marketing material so we can look at it and see what is it that she's actually targeting. And then the other thing a lot of our clients actually sell is sexual health. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge opportunity for people. And if you're not offering that right now in your business, you really should. Yeah. I mean, this is such a no-brainer because our population is aging. there's a lot of people in my age group and higher that could be missing out on the opportunity to really connect with someone, because let's face it, I mean, as we get older, we lose interest and our bodies start malfunctioning, maybe not working as good. And that's something that you can offer all your clients to help people, your consumers, your clients with that.
Yeah, and we actually had a member do a whole webinar series called Get Your Sexy Back.
Yeah.
And she's had great turnout with it.
Yeah.
So we have a question, Sarah?
Well, we have a comment actually from Dr. Martha. She is training in cosmetic surgery. She's very interested in learning about practice management, and she's ordered Dori's latest book.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations. Enjoy the book. But the book is a good start. And then there's a lot more that goes with it to really help you structure your business successfully. Well, congratulations to you. That's wonderful. Yeah.
It's nice hearing new people like that find us on social media and start getting right into it.
Yeah. So when you're doing your marketing, again, it's all about playing on the emotions. So keep that in mind. And it makes such really a big, big difference on how to position yourself.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like that, when we were talking about that at Leap Ahead, Monday, I guess, about using that emotion and feeling it, I was like, wow, light bulbs. I could just see the light bulbs. And as the people are typing in their questions, I'm naming the questions, and I couldn't keep up with the questions of all of those
But you see
things.
how I apply things in our material?
Definitely.
So, a lot of people think, oh my gosh, Dori is so smart, or, she comes up with all these things. I mean, there are so many things that you come across on daily basis that you can take, borrow, whatever you want to call it, and put it into use, into your business. And that happens all the time. And it's funny enough that we were talking about emotions during the Leap Ahead and how to really sell and what is it that your clients really want. And then we're talking about emotions here.
Sure.
But you know what? A lot of times you read something and then it's just, again, that simmering process. And all of a sudden it gives you, because I practiced this, all of a sudden I would wake up one morning. She was making fun of it last week that Dori comes to the office with all these ideas.
We weren't making fun.
That's true. But the reason I come up with all these things, and sometimes I amaze myself. Like, where did that come from? I'll be like, oh my God, where did that? She's like, where did that come from?
Or she'll be like, write it down really fast.
That was good.
It's that all the time. That was good.
But that's what happens if you open yourself up to your opportunities that are coming to you from all different places, things that you read, things that you listen to, things that you watch. And before you know it, they kind of assemble themselves into these great ideas that you will have that will make a big difference in your business. But if you don't study, you don't read, you don't apply, then you're just going to keep getting the same thing. I mean, think of how much you two have grown just going through this book. Seriously.
It's been amazing, and I have to tell you, it's made a difference, right? And even in just the first 2-3 chapters, like, I was like, wow, like, I couldn't believe all this existed and not ever really being introduced to it. And I do think, had I been introduced to it years ago when I was in school and my brain was still developing, then, things in my life would be a lot different, and I could be further than I am where I am now, but I'm very happy where I'm at, because I feel like I'm being successful and accomplishing a lot, but it has made a difference. It's made a huge difference. And the emotions, we keep talking about what we talked this weekend, Virtual Leap Ahead, right? And you talked about the consultation process, and that's part of selling that whole emotional feeling. But I like the words that you use, like
getting to know your journey.
The getting to know you journey, and then when you get that buy-in from a client or a potential client, for our clients, saying, wouldn't that be nice? So if you're selling that package and saying, don't you want to have this and don't you want to have that? And then asking them, wouldn't that be nice? And
imagine yourself.
Yeah, imagine yourself looking like this or feeling like this. And you do. You
How
make
will
them
that
have
change
that
your
emotion,
life? How
right?
will that change your life? And you get them talking about it.
But it opens up the door for you.
Absolutely.
And if they don't ask those questions and get them talking, then they're just sitting here across the table having a doctor consultation, which can be
and that's what he calls genius, by the way.
Right.
And that's what I'm, okay, yes, I can be a genius.
We call it being dorified, but,
yeah. But really, the genius in you comes out when things like this happen. And it's something that you can just teach yourself.
Yeah.
Like, why would somebody else be smarter than you?
Well, I don't know.
They shouldn't be, right? So we can all be like super smart. We can all be geniuses. If, again, we just take information, process it, and then direct it towards a task or something that really we want to accomplish.
Well, and every time I hear either of you doing certain things, I always kind of lean back. My office is directly between Tara and Dori's. So I can hear sometimes things that are going on. So I'll often just kind of pause what I'm doing, take it in, assimilate that language or that system a little bit further in and a little bit better so that I can utilize it on my next call or on my next conversation with a client or a team member. And that makes such, again, that mastermind group. I see this as part of my mastermind group because they're assimilating those ideas and helping that grow.
Well, I think I have so many people that ask me, like when I do a coaching call with them, and I'm repeating what Dori has already mentioned and taught, right? Because I have emotions behind it when I say it. I mean it when I say it. And they'll say, oh my God, like, I wish I could be like you and just pull it right off. They're like, what, do you have it all written down on a script somewhere? And I'm like, no, I feel it. Like when I'm teaching them how to do a consultation, right? But I have emotion behind when I'm telling them, if you do this process,
it's knowledge and emotion.
Right. But I mean, when I'm helping them coach and say, they're like, you feel like you live it. And I'm like, I do, because I see it work. And I have 100% belief that if you follow this system, it will work every time for you. And so that gives me emotion. I get happy knowing, okay, they're going to go implement and they're going to be successful. Yeah. And I do. I have emotions about it.
Sure.
And it's okay.
Sure. So I had one client today and she just starts this big smile in the middle of coaching something. And I was like, are you okay? She's like, you just said it exactly like the video that I watched last night. She's like, that's amazing. You too can be like this. Like she was literally ecstatic
to have
that like reiteration of wait,
we're all singing the same song.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be. Just like your teams, when you have your guest relations team or your consultation team or whoever, if one person answers the phone one way and then you call the next day, somebody else answers the phone a different way, there's no consistency, then you wonder, well, what kind of place is it? So if that's why the importance of training is so key in your organization, is that when you teach everybody to do the same thing, then you have that consistency, accuracy, and growth. And it instills confidence in your clients that, yes, I'm dealing with a professional team. Could you imagine if you got on the phone and you said something totally different than what she already heard from me?
Minute, who do I listen?
It would have been like, what the heck? She doesn't know what the hell you're talking about. Right. So this is all very, I mean, it all connects together to all the things that really Napoleon Hill talks about, from burning desire to persistence to specialized knowledge to thoughts are things, all the principles that we've been discussing for the last few weeks.
Well, now through this conversation in this hour that we have together, that transmutation now for me completely fits, right? Like I was still a little like, I got it intellectually, but now I get it emotionally.
Yeah.
Well, and I think in the book a couple of times he mentions those hunches, right? So it's like you all of a sudden get this hunch of something, but it's like that infinite intelligence that's sitting in you. And sometimes I'll do something and my husband will look at me and he's like, why did you do that? I'm like, I just got a hunch. But then when I do it, I'm like, oh, I see Dori in this, because I live, I breathe, I am part of where I work, right? It's part of my life. And so I mean, when I answer the phone, my own phone sometimes, I'll even say how I talk on the phone here, this is Tara, to whom I have pleasure of speaking. And my husband's like, it's your husband. And I'm like, oh, sorry. Like,
What do you mean?
And my pleasure, and all these fun. They're Doriisms, but they're real life isms.
Mm-hmm.
It makes such a difference when you tell someone it's my pleasure.
Yeah,
because it is.
Sure.
And again, it gives an emotion.
Right.
It all ties back to this emotion that you get when you say certain things.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So I have Mallory asking, is it too late to be part of this leap ahead that you keep talking about?
Oh,
It's never
I
too
would
late to
say
learn.
we're just barely touching the icing on the cake.
Well, what's good about it is that everything is recorded. So even if she comes in like 3 modules in, or even 6 modules in, or 12 modules in, they're all recorded and they're there on demand. So whenever she wants to go watch something, she can go and watch it.
And then all
that's
the tools
what's nice
too.
about it, and all the tools. Yeah. So it's never too late. You should definitely get it. Anybody starting new in business, if you don't attend the leap ahead, and I'm not telling you this to sell you, frankly, if you want to, great. If you don't, c'est la vie.
Right.
It doesn't really matter. But anybody starting new, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. We have like the whole blueprint laid out for you, and all you have to do is, actually, we probably have some leap ahead folks on the call with us today.
Dr. Mott is on here.
Yeah.
Dr. Kuntz is on here.
There you go.
She's such a good girl. Dr. Mata is actually a dentist, and that's the biggest shift, by the way, in our industry. Is a lot of dentists are actually getting into offering injectables from head up treatments. So it's so nice to meet
she's
so
an
many.
implementer.
She is. She is.
So many great people. Yeah.
And all the mastermind members that have joined. I mean, we've had so many this last week. We had like 6 the day before yesterday, and they're coming in at the perfect time, right in the leap ahead. And they're like, we know exactly what our homework is the leap ahead, right? And I tell them, I said, not everybody is as fortunate as you are right now. Sometimes we see members and, we have to work on things, but to get that 3 days with Dori and build that foundation on leap is amazing. And the fact that they're all getting it for a year.
Sure.
Wow.
Well, I've had members say, this is all new content.
Yeah. Well, and she's changed it for the
Because
situation.
I'm always working.
Yeah, it's brand
Because I have no love life. I'm not having any sex.
She's transmuting her desires
That's right.
to business.
I'm not having any sex, so all my urges are going towards making you better.
Right.
But mastermind members, I would highly recommend you hopping in here too, because it is all new. I know a lot of you are Leap Ahead graduates, and if you're not a mastermind member, but you're a Leap Ahead graduate and you're on the fence about it, do it. I was going through the program before we went live yesterday, and I was like pouring through it and learning more. And I'm like, I called Tara, I'm like, Tara, did you see this? This is so good. It's new. Like, this is so good. And it's just new. And if you're a Leap graduate, you need to take it again.
We had a new member today who came to Leap in 2012.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my gosh. She's like, I sat and listened to the first 3 chapters. And she's like, the foundation, she recognized still the foundation is the same, right? But the way that they're implemented in the verbiage, and it's been updated and, adjusted and to make it better. And she was like, I am so thankful that Dori's been able to do this. But she loved how you still don't change your systems, structures, strategies, and solutions because they are their foundation. And, she was sharing that.
They're the foundation of any business.
Right. But she loves how they're consistent, that just one day it's not something totally different. And she's like, I cannot wait for my team to see that even now in 2020, we're going to go back and perfect those foundations that might have shifted, right? Because she did mention that they shifted a little.
Yep.
And that she's going to bring them back together.
Okay, so Dr. Mata has just hyped in here and said, you are not alone. The crying face emoji. We can be nuns.
Wait a minute, I thought she had a boyfriend.
She said, we can be nuns, is what she's telling you.
I am a nun. Where's my little...
Your habit. Your habit.
Oh my gosh. I tell you, I don't know what we're going to do with you.
I know. I need a boyfriend.
I mean,
listen, I just opened to this page here. Love, romance, and sex are all emotions capable of driving people to heights of super achievement.
Wow.
Isn't that nice? And then love is, without question, life's greatest experience. What a great little statement. And that's why everybody wants to fall in love.
Sure.
You know, I want to fall in love.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. You know, though, sometimes we sabotage our own goals because we
Number
want...
9, fear.
Yeah, fear.
Mm-hmm.
But then you wonder, like, because sometimes I sit at home by myself and I'm so happy.
Right.
Like, I am so happy.
Sometimes I want to be like you. I go home after working
and then I try to imagine, like, what would life be like
Having to share space.
if I had to look at someone all the time. And that scares me. So that fear right here, he's talking about negative emotions. So that brings a little negative emotions in me.
Sure.
And I don't know if that's like blocking my avenue to falling in love, because if you're really in love with someone, then maybe you want them there 24/7.
Yes and no. Like,
but not.
But I think sometimes for the opposite, we all want something that we don't have, right? So I, after leaving work, go home, and then my husband wants to ask me about my day and talk, and then I'm like, I don't want to talk anymore. Like, I've been talking all day, and I look at him and I'm like, really? And he's like, well, you don't want to talk to me? And I'm like, it's not that I don't want to talk to you. I've been talking all day.
I'm out of words. I've run out of my allocated number of words
and it's
for
hard
the day.
to have to relive your entire day to someone else. And it's like, I don't really want to relive that, you know?
Yeah.
So I do sometimes envy Dori. I'm like, oh, I wish I could just go home and there would be nobody there.
I don't even have a cat. I have a dog. I have nothing.
We're going to get her a dog, though.
And no, not yet.
Not yet, but we're going to work on it.
I have to make sure I'm not traveling
again.
first.
Mhm.
I mean, again, though, that's stuff to have to go home and do.
Yep.
You know? So,
Yep.
but I mean, I have to say,
Did you like this chapter?
I did, and talking about it now obviously makes it a little bit different, right? And I think a lifestyle differently would if I was younger, you know, reading this chapter, right? I like to have fun and joke, and you know, when you talk about the whole sex transmutation, you could take it into any
Sure.
stream that you want, right? But really applying it to business will make such a big difference in my life.
Yeah, and that's really what I want everybody just to try it. So just watch, be aware. There's a couple of things that you need to do. First of all, is you need to have awareness of when you actually feel that, and then you need to be able to transfer it. So once you start feeling that urge, then you need to stop and you need to direct that towards something that you want to accomplish. So I want to leave you with that, because that's really one of the most important things about implementing this. So awareness, and then actually directing it towards going after what you want. And it could be anything. It could be becoming a better artist. It could be becoming a better business advisor. It could be becoming a better coach. It could be anything that you want. Try it. That's really my action for you this week, is to take what we were talking about today and try it. Be aware and then direct. You'll be amazed. And now, you know, something may not happen right away. It might take a couple of weeks, but I want you to just start doing it. And once you start doing it, you're going to notice a big difference. So that's my encouragement for you. All right, so we are almost on time. Our next chapter, yes, we're going to do our giveaway, but our next chapter that we're going to talk about, actually, that's another great chapter. It's about the subconscious mind, and that gives you that connecting the links together of what we really want. So we're going to chapter 12 next week.
I can't believe it's been 12 weeks.
I know.
And I'm excited about that chapter because I can see it all kind of circling together.
Yes.
So that's where I'm super excited about that chapter.
And that's the nice thing. And, you know, you heard us talk about the leap ahead. So if you want more information, you can either call in or go to the website and learn more about it. There's a great webinar you can watch, totally free, right on that page. And it's a great webinar, actually. You should go watch it. So if anybody is not familiar with what we do, because we have a lot of new people always joining us, we invite you to go to InSPArationManagement.com and check it out. So we'd love to have you.
And I really want to get some ideas for the name of our new TV show to do that giveaway.
Yes.
I think that's going to be
So
a
did
great
we
prize.
have anybody chime in with some ideas for shows that we're going to do in our studio? Shame on that.
Well, I think
We need to give
what
them
they'll
some
do-
time to
Well,
get
yeah.
creative. They have to think about it.
Think about it.
They
It's
have to
got to
think about
simmer.
it.
They've got to
Gotta
brain
simmer.
dump.
Yeah. So
I-
think about it of what kind of shows or names of shows. We also want to name our studio, by the way. So if you
Yes.
come up with some names for our studio, that would be a great thing because we are going to do genius things in this place, this
So,
space.
I think what they should do is to take a video of themselves saying what they think our new name should be and hashtagging inspiration management
There you
so
go.
that everybody can see what they think the name should be. And then we can do a contest on the winners.
Yeah,
I think that would be great.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
We'll
And I can't wait to see all their faces and all these, because it sounds differently when you say it versus
Yeah.
when you write it in. I
down.
want to
Sure.
hear their
Inflection,
voice.
right? It's the inflection
Those
and the tone and
tones
that. Yeah.
and things
Yeah.
like that, which
All
has
right.
played a factor in this.
Yeah. All right. So let's give away what we were going to do today, though.
Yeah. So for our some good questions. Oh, sorry, my screen's jabbling at me. Okay, so I have a thought in my head as to who I would like to give it to.
Yeah.
And I do. I'd like to give it to Dr. Martha, who's joining us on social media.
All right.
So Dr. Martha, if you'd like to email us over at tara@inspirationmanagement.com, Tara will make sure that you get your prize and that you get contacted by us to let you know, so you can.
And she's going to get Dori's book
Dori's
that
book.
she just got.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Very
What
cool.
amazing. Well, Dr. Martha, we're so happy that you are the winner and cannot wait to see you take a selfie with all the amazing gifts
That's
that
right.
we're getting ready to send you. We want that selfie.
That's right. And, we are on social media, so please follow us if you want to watch other chapters in case you did not see us. They're all on our YouTube channel under Think and Grow Rich. So you can go to Inspiration Management YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and then ring the bell so we can notify you when we put out new videos, which, as you know, we're always doing new things.
Well, eventually you're going to have to announce the new
Yes,
book.
we will do that probably in a couple of weeks. We'll announce the new book. I already know which book it is, but I'm not going to tell you yet.
Oh my gosh.
We don't even know yet.
Yes.
We have a few chapters left.
Yes, we
couple.
do. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm excited.
the next one actually is a very important one. Like you said, it's going to kind of put things together for you.
And they can always remember that, we did Dori's book as a book gathering. So you have the opportunity to go back and listen to those.
We did that very quickly, though.
We
Yeah,
did.
we
I
did
would
4
love
weeks.
to break this one down
We are.
into each individual chapter. It would be really great.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, it was such a pleasure being with all of you guys. So much fun. Let us know how you like this new studio that we have. You can share it on different places, like Tara said, and tag us. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, ladies.
Thanks for having
I'm
us.
glad I can enlighten you on the
Absolutely.
transmutation of sex. Stay healthy, stay safe, and until next time, stay inspired. Bye now. Woo.
I'm never going to get old of that.